Good morning. This is DebraVWilson. It is Sunday and the 28th of June, 2020. The time is 1000 hours and 2 minutes, and that's British summer time. Normally, the scope of my podcast is around the understanding the various manifestations of the relational dynamics between the United Kingdom's national security model and the people. So the people can be the general public or organizations composed of the general public. So I'm thinking specifically of civil society. Over the last few weeks, I have been particularly focused on state to state relationships and what those look like and how they manifest themselves. And again, my focus, I think it's fair to say my primary focus is the United Kingdom, but I have three countries of interest in an alpha order. That is, they would be Canada, Israel, and the United Kingdom. They each have their own unique national security models. There are definitely similarities. There are similarities in general about the construct of a national security model. But the specifics would definitely be a reflection of the way the state understands national security and how that interacts with the people. And that is influenced by which country you're talking about and the level of democracy in said country. So the rights available to people to opine on national security and say, no, that's too much. No, we want more transparency. No, no, no. And that can vary from country to country. But again, this podcast is going to look at very briefly, and it's more an exercise. The exercise that I'm going through. So, with my primary focus being the United Kingdom, it is the United Kingdom, and Israel, because I think they're similar. Actually, I think there's significant similarities in the way the national security models are constructed and delivered between the UK and Israel. I think the major difference is a reflection of the people, the bottom up. I think in terms of Israeli Jews, I think metaphorically speaking, they want a more, collectively speaking, a more visible, dare I say, present, and by present I mean, again, metaphorically speaking, in your face model, so that they are ever assured that the national security model is there. I have over 30 years experience here in the United Kingdom from a bottom-up perspective, and I can say most assuredly that collectively that is not the case here. We do not want, most people do not want a national security model with an in-your-face, metaphorically speaking, engagement with the counterterrorism police, and definitely I would say not the spies. But nevertheless, I still think there's similarity. So today in this podcast, it's an exercise, and I'm trying not to hem and haw, so I'm just going to pause as I ruminate, because this is a work in progress. So today I'm actually looking at in Israel, again with this being state to state, I'm looking at the plan by Netanyahu and the Likud party to annex part of the West Bank. And that plan is being challenged by an organization entitled Commanders for Israel's Security. And it is composed of, it's nonpartisan. I will read exactly from their bio, Twitter bio. Commanders for Israel's Security are a nonpartisan movement of senior security officials, IDF, Shin Bet, Mossad, and Israel Police. And I have been remiss in not including the police. I've always, in previous instances, included the IDF, Shin Bet, and the Mossad. So I do apologize for not including the Israel police. Then the next group I'm looking at is an article from The Guardian concerning police commissioners in the United Kingdom, warning ministers ignore police chiefs warning over risk of lifting lockdown in England. So I will include the article from The Guardian, which is dated Saturday, the 27th of June, 2020. I don't want to say too much about either the article or the utterances from the commanders for Israel's security, other than to say it's an interesting exchange, public exchange between state to state. And many of the people within the commanders for Israel's security, it perhaps might be majority, are retired. But nevertheless, and the police chiefs are currently serving. Nevertheless, what's interesting for me, it's a discussion that's being had in front of the people. It is the state, one sector of the state, opining to another sector of the state in full view of we the people, which I think is very interesting. I think it definitely reflects a freedom to be able to do that, because in both instances, I just made a wrong, caught it. In both instances, both the police chiefs in England and the commanders for Israel's security, you have practitioners involved in keeping a nation safe. And in this case, it's one of the nations in the UK, England. In the case of the police chiefs, you have them opining to, although they're all state, the practitioners opining to the people who make the laws and direct the implementation of the laws. So I think it's fascinating. So I asked a myriad of questions. What does that say that these conversations, which I think are fascinating that they're available to the public, but what does that say that they have made it to the public? Is that a reflection of both parties, all parties feeling unheard? I don't know. It's a question I'm asking, a rhetorical question, because I'm not going to get an answer. But it is a question I ask. Is it that they felt this was their only, quote unquote, recourse? I wouldn't imagine that the police chiefs or people from the IDF, Shin Bet, Mossad, or Israel police would be people that were quick to quick to opine publicly. I would think that their thoughts would be, these would be practitioners who would be, they're all seasoned professionals, and I think they would be people who would be more reticent to say things publicly. It'd be because in all cases there is a certain amount of, a high degree actually, of discretion that's required. So what does that say? That they have gone public. And indeed they have. And what does it say about the people that they are speaking to? Are they not listening? Do they not understand? What does it say about the relationships? Or police chiefs in this country and in Israel, as well as Shin Bet, the Mossad, and Israel police, and IDF, they're part of this general society. They're part of people. Is it this a reflection of the social media era that we're living in, that you give voice publicly? I don't think so. I think definitely these people have taken advantage of, utilized what is available to them. But then again, I ask the question, because one would think they would have more access than we, the general public, even retired people, as in the case in Israel. I would think they would have more access than the general public. So what does it say about relational dynamics? What does it say about how the political sector understands what the practitioners who are tasked with keeping their nation safe, how they understand what they do? Do they understand? Or is it the practitioners of security and policing that don't understand the big picture that perhaps the political sector sees the country from that perspective? I don't know. I don't know, but I think it's fascinating that we live in a time in which police chiefs here and in Israel, the IDF, the Shin Bet, the Mossad, retired or not, give voice to those who run the country about their expertise and their understanding of their responsibility with that expertise and their right to opine to those that run the country. I think it's absolutely fascinating. So it's just two pieces today. I did it again, sorry. The article from The Guardian, and then I'm going to post the Twitter account, the information on the Twitter account for the commanders for Israel security. This is DebraVWilson, and I am in Bradford. Thank you.